your energy forecast for Saturday, January 20th. Okay, welcome to the busiest, most intense, energetic shift kind of day that we are going to have in a very, very long time. Now, reason being, today we watch the Sun and Pluto, the great transformer himself, come together, conjunct Casimir, in this 29th degree of Capricorn energy before the Sun shifts into Aquarius season, and then Pluto shifts into Aquarius energy as well. There is a whole astro forecast that I put out for your listening pleasure to kind of give you the overview on what this energy means for us. And of course, if you haven't listened to the 2024 year ahead overview, I'm going to recommend you do that, especially zoning in on January, because this is a very pivotal time, pivotal energy shift. All of the darkness, all of the heaviness, all of the weight, all of the funk is going to be exasperated, intensified under this particular transit, mostly because the Sun and Pluto coming together at the 29th degree in Capricorn energy is the final time that the Sun and Pluto will meet up in this Capricorn energy. This is a big deal. And again, I go into depth on why it's a big deal and what this means for us in those particular forecasts. But just understand that today is likely going to feel very jittery, very heavy, very weighted. There's going to be a lot of fluctuations. There's going to be a lot of ebbs and flows because we are essentially having this regenerative energy, this zap, if you will, renewing, resurrecting, rejuvenating Pluto so that when they move into Aquarius energy, he can hit the ground running. He has a very important task here in 2024, which is to wrap up this particular tough love life lesson that we've been sitting in this Capricorn energy since 2008. Again, everybody wants to talk about the big hoopla of Pluto actually moving into Aquarius energy. That isn't the big deal. We've already done that. We've already dipped our toe in the water, so to speak. We know what to expect. The big deal is that the Sun and Pluto are coming together. They are teaming up. The Sun is downloading Pluto with all of this beautiful energy so that he is in his final act, the final chapter, if you will, of the story that we've been trying to close the door on for many, many moons now. And so this is going to be a very discombobulated, very intense, energetic day. And we're just going to have to be patient and navigate these particular energies to the best of our ability. But if you've been feeling the intensities, of course, we talked about this last week. This was the last chunk, if you will, of Capricorn season. And we have been anticipating that the closer that we get to the 20th is going to be shaky. It is going to test our faith. It is going to feel like we're never going to be able to break out of these particular circumstances. That is all a fake facade. That's all a delusion. And we are finally at this pivotal point where we are going to make a major jump, major leap into a totally different energy. So I am going to recommend that you tap into all the resources that I put out there. If you haven't even listened to your January zodiac forecast as of yet, you should probably do that as well. There is so much going on. We are definitely going to feel the shift in our mood and our attitude as we kind of jump out of this Capricorn energy, jump into Aquarius energy. So we got that going on. Now, besides that, because that is the major thing going on here today, we do have the moon in Taurus energy transitioning into Gemini energy. So we are going to see the moon go void, of course, at 8:59 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're locking into Gemini energy right away. There's no void of courseness. We're just kind of sitting in it. We are very, very much moving out of the physical form, out of the heaviness, out of the weight that, again, the moon in Taurus has us sitting in, and the Sun in Capricorn has us sitting in. The moon in Gemini, of course, is going to happen before the Sun and Pluto kind of do their thing. It's happening kind of at the same time. And then the Sun is going to go into Aquarius energy. So we're going to have the Sun in an air sign, the moon in an air sign. So we're moving out of the heavy weighted physical form. We're moving up into the headspace. There's going to be a lot of pressure in that headspace. Again, fluctuating energies. Very high highs, super low lows, and hopefully we can kind of snag a little bit of bliss in the in-between. So there are 15 different aspects here today. Again, very busy day in the cosmos. 12 of them are going to involve the moon. While the moon is still very much in this Taurus energy, we are going to sextile with Neptune in his place of power in this Pisces energy. We love this for us because it is a little bit of a refresher, of a reminder of what it is that our intuition, our heart space, our soul space is calling us to do, is calling us to pursue. Now, again, the moon in Taurus, taking a very grounded approach, not wanting to think too far into the past, too far into the future, just wanting to kind of pluck out the silver linings of the here and now. We don't mind this. This is like a renewal. This is a refresher. This is a reminder of what it is that we would like to build, what it is that we would like to create, what it is that we're being called to pursue. Now, the moon is going to make a tough aspect with Venus. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money. She just crossed over the galactic center here at 27 degrees in this Sagittarius energy. So this is an infusion, if you will, a triggering, an activation of the change of heart, of the change of worth, of the change of values. Again, another reason why we've been kind of living in funky town is because we really had to kind of anchor in this new version of self. And with this new version of self, there are new parameters of wants, needs, and desires. Not being able to put our finger on the discontentment has been a little bit of an agitation, a little bit of the anxiety that has been triggered. But this particular interaction, especially because Venus rules over the Taurus energy that the moon is in, this is us really sitting in our funk, in our heart space, realizing what it is that we want more of. Now, be very careful with this, because although it is important to identify what it is that we are currently lacking in order for us to figure out where it is we have to pour more time, energy, and attention into building ourselves up, filling the voids of the things that we've already identified that we're not feeling fulfilled with. We don't want to sit in the lack of scarcity mindset for too freaking long, because again, we're in some powerful energies here. What we focus on is what we are going to manifest, and we do not want to sit in the, oh, whoa, poor is me, I don't have this, I wish I had that. We don't want to sit in that particular narrative for too long. We do not want to manifest that energy, but it is important to identify what it is that we're not feeling content with, especially where our relationships and our money matters are concerned, in order for us to have a good awareness on what needs a little bit of extra help, extra love, extra energy, extra attention. The moon is going to make a tough aspect with Mars. Mars, of course, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires in this Capricorn energy, going very low and slow with calculated moves, and many of us not making any kind of moves because we're still in the planning, visualizing, and strategizing point of this particular chapter. Again, the moon and Mars interacting in the not so nice way is bringing up a lot of frustration, a lot of agitation, a lot of restlessness. We have ants in our pants. Mars anxiously wants us to be able to move forward, take action, make moves in order to actually see some progress. The moon in Taurus really not supporting any kind of action right now. Again, fixed earth energy. We're kind of resistant to these particular changes that need to be made. Not that we don't want to make them, just that we're not prepared to be making them right now. And you know what? With the energy going on here today, we are not being supported by the cosmos to make any major moves, any major changes. Speaking about changes, 8:41 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the sun in Capricorn energy at this final 29th critical crisis degree, coming up to bumping into teaming up with Pluto, the great transformer himself, also at the 29th critical crisis degree. So this is the event in which we've been talking about. This is a very intense alignment. Anytime that Pluto is involved, of course, intensity is shortly thereafter. The sun is our life force energy. And so in our mood, in our attitude, there is this, I'm going to say, aggressive, rebellious, warrior type of spirit coming forth. We are very strong-willed at this particular point in time, and we are hell-bent on gaining control, especially over our emotions, over our mental plane, over the circumstances in our lives that aren't going so well that we feel very out of control with. Now, we are motivated. What are we motivated to do? Whatever needs to be done in order to get out of this particular aspect, this particular chapter, this particular funk. We are benefiting greatly from this laser type of tunnel vision that we are having, trying to focus on building a path, a plan, a strategy to get us out of this particular energy and into another situation, another circumstance. This is Also a very empowering energy, because again, we're bossing up in a lot of different ways here. Keep in mind that power and control, especially in this Capricorn energy, is the name of the game. But because Pluto's involved, there's a little bit of secrecy going on as well. This is a point in time where we're not sharing our thoughts, our ideas, our emotions, our goals, our dreams, our visions with other people, because if you haven't noticed, the minute that you share with other people is the minute that things start falling apart. There is a lot to be learned and a lot to be said for keeping things to yourself. Surprise them, bust out. Don't let anybody know your path, your plans until you are bringing them to life. And then people are going to be like, wow, I had no idea that you were building this. I had no idea that you were, trying to bring this to life. Let's start normalizing keeping our good ideas, our path, our plan, our strategy, our mission, if you will. Let's practice keeping that to ourselves, cultivating that particular inspiration, that motivation, really building ourselves up. And again, once we finally reach the point of success where we're able to actually have something to show for our energy and our efforts, we're just going to bust out. We're going to surprise them. Everybody is just going to kind of turn their heads and be like, wow, had no clue, had no idea. That is inspiring as F that you were able to accomplish all this without sharing any of it to the outside world. Now, that may seem a little bit uncomfortable for a lot of people. And if you find that it is uncomfortable for you because you are someone that wants to share, that wants to kind of collaborate with other people, that wants to kind of keep your close-knit circle in the loop of the things that you're doing, then I want you to take a good look at where the North Node in Aries, the South Node in Libra is taking place in your chart, because the lesson here is for us to detach from the people that we are wanting to share this information with, because that is how we get influenced by other people's thoughts and opinions, and then oftentimes swayed away from doing what it is that we want to do, that we know what we have to do in order to fulfill a mission, a quest, a purpose within ourselves. We get derailed by letting other people in on our thoughts, on our plans. So this is going to be a very different way of building towards our success. Now, just a couple of minutes later, we're going to have the moon. We are at the final degrees of this Taurus energy, okay? Trining, beautiful interaction with Pluto at this 29th degree in the Capricorn energy. So this is Earth on Earth. What do we get out of Earth on Earth energies? Well, we get stabilization. We get a grounded, logical, practical approach to some of the goals, the visions, the emotions, the thoughts, the ideas that we're currently percolating on. This is an emotional shift because Pluto is the great transformer. The moon is our emotional space. So we are bossing up to new levels of power, of authority within ourselves, over our thoughts, over our emotions. This feels good. 1 minute later, the moon is going to shift into the Gemini energy. The minute that we shift into the Gemini energy, the moon is going to be aspecting the sun as the sun transits into Aquarius energy. So this is almost like Earth on Earth, then air on air, and then the sun moves into an air sign, and then suddenly we're in a totally different space, different mood, different perspective, different attitude. The sun moving into Aquarius energy is going to kind of alleviate some of the pressure, some of the weight, some of the funk that we've been sitting in. It is going to take a little bit to kind of adjust to this particular energy, but we are definitely going to feel this particular energy shift. So I'm going to say from like 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to about 10 minutes after 9 a.m. This is going to be a chunk of time where everything is just going to seem like it's wackadoodle. It may even feel like you're on an elevator. Just, that feeling that you get in your physical body where your stomach drops, your feet are firmly planted on the ground, but you feel like you're floating in air. This is going to be a wackadoodle time. Now, about an hour later, we have the moon now in the Gemini energy, semi-squaring, creating tension and conflict with Chiron, the wounded healer, in this Aries energy. So again, the moon in Gemini, we are moving up into the mental plane. The attempt is to get the heart and the head on the same page. Of course, the Gemini energy is going to debate the pros and cons, the highs, the lows, everything in between in order for us to find a common middle ground. So the Chiron energy, because it's being aspected in a negative way, there is going to be tension and conflict here. We're not thinking as positively as we would like. We're not feeling as safe, as secure, as stable as we would like. How could we with all of these shifting energies? Okay, so let's not beat ourselves up. Let's not say, oh my goodness, I thought, moving into Aquarius season, everything was going to be better. Okay, it's only been an hour, right? And we, at this particular point in time, are trying to get in alignment. So we, at this particular point in time, are very anxious, okay? We're not feeling grounded at all. Everything is up in the air, literally. This is the first time we've had air energies in the elemental energy profile of our day-to-day lives in a very long time. So this is an adjustment that we are going to need a little bit of time to kind of tweak and feel comfortable in. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction with Mercury. Mercury is the ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, ruler of communication, how it is that we express ourselves. Another fun fact, today, here on the 20th, Mercury is actually clearing his post-retrograde shadow period. So we have reached the 8th degree that Mercury went retrograde back in December. And of course, went back all the way through that Capricorn energy, dipped back into that Sag energy. We went direct, 22 degrees, 11 minutes of Sagittarius energy, January 1st. And here we are finally clearing that post-retrograde shadow period. So now Mercury is up to full speed. Our mental plane is clearing. We're starting to make sense of some things. We're starting to connect the dots. This is all good juju. So the moon is our heart space. Mercury is our head space. They're working together. The Gemini energy of the moon is trying to kind of rapidly process all the different angles, all the different options, all the different variables. We're having some aha moments. We can't really make sense of them as of yet, but things are popping, things are firing in our emotional space, in a reaction to some of the ideas in which we're having. Mercury, of course, in this Capricorn energy, is thinking about the long-term vision, the long-term goals, if you will, the path, the plan, the strategy that's going to get us there. And so this is a good interaction between our heart and our head because we're finally working towards the same goal. And that is a lovely thing. And out of that, we could probably expect little bits of clarity that is going to help kind of piece together the step-by-step process that we need to take to get away from where it is that we're currently at and closer to where it is that we desire to be. All good things. Now, that aspect takes place 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go all the way to 5 o'clock with nothing going on in the cosmos. So again, very weird energy, going to feel very unstable, very buzzy, if you will. Around 5 o'clock, we are going to have the moon semi-square with the North Node in Aries energy. So again, we're kind of too up in our headspace. There's a lot of processing, so much processing that we don't even see how we're going to move forward. The energy is just so thick. The instability is just so strong that we don't even understand how it is that we're supposed to move forward out of this particular energy, out of this particular situation or scenario. And even more than that, we start wrecking our brain, so to speak, creating problems where there doesn't need to be any. So let's just avoid that at all costs. Making matters even thicker, we have the moon in Gemini energy getting into the boxing ring, squaring off with Saturn. Saturn, of course, the Lord of Karma in this Pisces energy, really challenging us to boss up to a new level of discipline, new level of willpower to implement and take action upon our new belief system. So this isn't going to feel good. This is a heaviness. This is a weight. Side note, Saturn, who is the sole ruler, if you will, over the Capricorn energy, just got dethroned. Okay, we're no longer in Capricorn season. We're in Aquarius season. Yes, he is the traditional ruler of Aquarius energy, so there is a little bit of rulership there, but he isn't as, I'm going to say, stable and in his place of power as he would like to be at this particular moment in time. So we get into the boxing ring. Emotionally speaking, there's too many options. There's too many variables. Like I previously mentioned, we haven't been sitting in air energy for a very long time. So it feels like information overload. The shoulda, coulda, wouldas are very, very strong. The should I or shouldn't I's are very, very strong. We're trying to sort things out. We're debating. Again, Gemini energy. constantly with the back and forth, the pros, the cons, the highs, the lows, the ups, the downs. And right now, emotionally speaking, we're not feeling very sure about the path, about the plan, about the strategy, about what it is that we're supposed to be focused on, about how it is that we're supposed to be thinking or feeling. Everything is up in the air. Let's not beat ourselves up over this. We are going to get a little bit of a reprieve because the moon in Gemini going to make a positive interaction with Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. And this Taurus energy, a very low and slow energy. This is going to calm us down a little bit. This is going to ground us out a little bit. Yes, Jupiter offers us optimism and confidence and really boosts our spirit and refreshes our soul and our spirit, really rejuvenates the ideas, the emotions that we've been very comfortable and kind of percolating in and building upon. For the first time, we are going to feel like everything is going to be okay. The mental plane kind of slows down a little bit. Emotionally speaking, we understand that, yeah, there's a lot to think about. Yeah, there are different options available to us, different opportunities available to us. Do we have to choose now? No. Should we be choosing now? No. This energy is too funky. It's not stable yet. We have to kind of see where it is that we've been pressurizing our mental plane to figure it all out. And of course, this is not the time to figure it all out. We need to have a little bit more patience. And this particular energy is going to reassure to us that it's okay to sit back, to visualize, to think without the pressure of having to choose, having to decide, having to commit to a certain path or plan. The moon is then going to interact with Mars. Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, and this Capricorn energy, again, grounding us out, thankfully. Now, this is an energy that's going to work very well for us because Mars, being aspected in a positive way, wants to build in our inspiration, in our motivation, in our passions, in our desires, in our excitement, in our creativity. The moon in Gemini works very well with this energy because the Capricorn energy that Mars is in means that, yeah, we are thinking about the long term, but we also understand that we're removing the pressure. Mars, as much as he would like to take action and make moves and advance and progress in the path in which he's currently trying to identify that he wants to walk, the Capricorn energy is such a low and slow energy where we have to be very calculated, we have to be very deliberate. So this frees us up in our mental plane, in our emotional plane, to take our time in processing new ideas and processing the emotions that we're feeling in response to these particular visuals. This is working very well for us. Now, 10:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Mr. Pluto, the great transformer himself, moving into this Aquarius energy. I don't know how this is going to work. I think for some of us with the right kind of elemental energy profile, we may actually sleep. I think for some of us, we may have a very long night of tossing and turning of really wackadoodle dreams and a pressurized mental plane. We will have to wait and see how this manifests, but I would say that this is going to work for, I'm going to say, the air energies and the earth energies, and probably not be so favorable for the water and fire energies, but we'll have to wait and see. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in Gemini energy making a positive interaction with Neptune in his place of power in this Pisces energy. So this is our dreams, our creativity, our fantasies, our spirituality. This is our soul self, our intuition. And this is a beautiful interaction because it allows us to move into La La Land, to conjure up a vision and a dream, to start logically, practically sorting through the highs, the lows, the everything in between that, of course, the moon in Gemini needs us to do in order to figure out what the common grounding point is. Where can we launch off of? Where can we compromise? Where can we blend the mystical, imaginative, fantasy land type of energy with the logical, practical realm of our reality? What can we start piecing together in the here and now that could build a very strong foundation for us to house the visions, the dreams that we're currently trying to conjure up and visualize in our mental plane? So this is going to be a little bit of a magical energy for us to give ourselves permission to kind of pause this physical realm, this physical life, move into La La Land and explore what it is that our heart, our soul, our intuition is calling for us to pursue and kind of dabble in, and then listening to our physical body, how we're responding to some of the visuals that we're currently percolating on. And then again, that Gemini energy, needing to process, needing to sort out the path, the plan, the steps that we would have to take in order to get from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be.